Imagine living on a tiny island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, with no airport, no hospital, no police, and no internet. Imagine being one of the 50 people who share the same ancestry, the same culture, and the same language. Imagine being a descendant of the most famous rebellion in history and having to deal with the legacy of violence, isolation, and hardship. This is the reality of the Pitcairn Islanders, the most isolated people in the world. But how did they end up here? And what are the challenges they face today? In this video, we will explore the brutal story of the Pitcairn Islands and the fascinating culture and history of its inhabitants. But before we dive into the story, we have a question for you. Do you know which country the Pitcairn Islands belong to? Is it A, New Zealand, B, France, C, United Kingdom, or D, none of the above? Leave your answer in the comments below, and we will reveal the correct answer at the end of the video. The Pitcairn Islands, a group of 4 islands located in the South Pacific, approximately halfway between New Zealand and Peru, hold an intriguing history. Comprising Pitcairn, Henderson, Ducie, and Waino Islands, these serene lands showcase the remarkable blend of nature and human settlement. Pitcairn is the sole inhabited island out of the 4, boasting an area of around 5 square kilometers, which interestingly equates to the size of New York's Central Park. As for the remaining 3 islands, namely Henderson, Ducie, and Waino, they lay uninhabited, serving as occasional destinations for the Pitcairners who embark on fishing or tourism adventures. However, it is the Pitcairn Islands Association, with the descendants of the mutineers from the HMS Bounty, that contributes to their notable fame and intrigue. In 1790, following a momentous revolt against their captain, William Bligh, the HMS Bounty mutineers and their Tahitian companions sought refuge and settlement on these very islands. To fully comprehend this historic tale, it is crucial to trace back the origins of the journey that led to this remarkable transformation. The story begins with the purpose of the HMS Bounty's departure in 1787. Tasked by the British authorities, the naval ship embarked on a journey to Tahiti with the primary objective of collecting breadfruit plants. These plants were intended to serve as a food source for West Indies slaves. However, as fate would have it, the crew's encounter with the vibrant tropical paradise and the warm-hearted Tahitians veered their trajectory in an unexpected direction. Captivated by this newfound world, some of the ship's crew formed deep connections with the local women. Trouble arose when Captain Bligh commanded the crew to depart from Tahiti and continue their mission as planned. Certain members of the crew, led by a defiant Fletcher Christian, refused to adhere to Bligh's orders, culminating in a full-scale mutiny. Consequently, Bligh and 18 loyalists were set adrift in a rudimentary boat, and the mutineers sailed triumphantly back to Tahiti with the remaining crew and several Tahitian men and women. Against all odds, Bligh and his men miraculously survived the perilous 6,700-kilometer journey to Timor, where they reported the mutiny to the British authorities. In response, a naval expedition was promptly organized to capture the mutineers. However, by the time the expedition set out, Christian and 8 of his followers had already embarked on a new voyage, accompanied by 18 Tahitian women and 6 Tahitian men. Driven by a fervent desire to elude capture and seek refuge, they navigated the vast waters, eventually stumbling upon a remote island that had been misplaced on maps, a place that would soon become their permanent sanctuary. The tranquil and uncharted Pitcairn Island beckoned to Christian and his companions. With the deliberate intent of evading detection, they set their beloved bounty ablaze, ensuring that its remnants would vanish without a trace. It was on this very island that the mutineers, accompanied by their loyal Tahitian companions, established a small, tight-knit community, shaping the destiny of the Pitcairn Islands forever. The rich tapestry of the Pitcairn Islands encompasses not only its awe-inspiring natural landscapes, but also the captivating saga that unfolded centuries ago. Today, as one explores the island's pristine beauty, the echoes of the past resound, reminding us of the audacious rebellion, the remarkable journey of survival, and the establishment of an enduring community on Pitcairn Island. Life on Pitcairn was not easy or peaceful. The mutineers from the HMS Bounty, led by Fletcher Christian and the Tahitians they brought with them, soon clashed over land, women, and authority, resulting in violent conflicts. Tensions ran high, and within a decade, all but one of the mutineers, John Adams, and all of the Tahitian men were killed in various conflicts or accidents. This left Adams as the sole surviving adult male, along with 10 Tahitian women and 23 children. Despite the challenges they faced, Adams took it upon himself to become the leader and teacher of the community. He recognized the importance of education and sought to bring order and harmony to the island. Adams taught the Pitcairn Islanders English, Christianity, and literacy skills. Through his efforts, he helped lay the foundation for the development of a unique culture and way of life on Pitcairn. For the next 18 years, the Pitcairn Islanders lived in complete isolation and obscurity. It wasn't until 1808 that their existence would be discovered by chance. An American whaling ship, captained by Mayhew Folger, stumbled upon the island and was astonished to find a community of English-speaking mixed-race individuals living there. Recognizing the significance of this discovery, Captain Folger reported the existence of the Pitcairn Islanders to the British authorities. News of their existence and the circumstances surrounding their settlement reached Britain, prompting the British government to make a decision on how to handle the situation. Ultimately, they chose to extend a pardon to John Adams and the surviving mutineers, recognizing the unique circumstances they had endured. In addition, the British authorities formally declared Pitcairn Island as a British colony. Notably, the British government also offered the Pitcairn Islanders the option to relocate either to another island or to Britain itself. They recognized the challenges of living on a remote and isolated island and wanted to provide alternatives. Surprisingly, most of the Pitcairners chose to remain on their beloved island, despite the potential opportunities and attractions elsewhere. Thus, Pitcairn Island became the permanent home and sanctuary for the Pitcairn Islanders. Over the next century, they would continue to live a simple and self-sufficient life, heavily relying on farming, fishing, and trading with passing ships. This lifestyle allowed them to sustain themselves and maintain their independence, despite their remote location. As they settled into this unique existence, the Pitcairners developed a distinct culture and language. Through a blend of English and Tahitian, a distinct dialect emerged, becoming the main means of communication amongst the islanders. This linguistic fusion served as a testament to the mixed heritage and diverse origins of the Pitcairn community. Living in relative isolation, the Pitcairners had the freedom to establish their own laws and customs. They embraced a democratic system of government, with a mayor and a council elected by the adult population. This enabled each member of the community to have a voice and actively participate in decision-making processes. Furthermore, the Pitcairn Islanders cultivated a strong sense of community and family ties. Their small population ensured that everyone was interconnected, either by blood or through marriage. This close-knit social structure fostered a deep sense of belonging, and the Pitcairners relied on one another for support and cooperation. In conclusion, life on Pitcairn Island was far from easy, yet the resilience and determination of the Pitcairn Islanders allowed them to forge a unique existence. Through the leadership of John Adams, they developed a distinct culture and way of life that sustained them for generations. Despite the challenges they faced, the Pitcairners found solace and fulfillment in their tight-knit community, their connection to the land, and their shared history. However, by the time the 20th century arrived, the Pitcairn Islands were confronted with a whole new set of challenges and changes that were brought about by the increasing interconnectedness and modernization of the world. As a result, the population of the islands experienced great fluctuations as some Pitcairners decided to leave their homeland in search of better opportunities elsewhere, while others returned or even immigrated to the island. The lack of resources and infrastructure on the island led to a growing reliance on external aid and support, which became necessary for the island's survival. Furthermore, the Pitcairn Islands were also confronted with a series of environmental and social problems that threatened the island's sustainability and well-being. Deforestation, soil erosion, water scarcity, and the prevalence of sexual abuse were just a few of the issues that the islanders had to face. These problems not only threatened the physical health and safety of the Pitcairners, but also had far-reaching implications for the island's societal fabric and sense of unity. In the year 2004, the Pitcairn Islands were rocked by a truly shocking scandal that sent shockwaves through the community. It was revealed that 7 men, including the mayor and several former leaders, were guilty of raping and molesting underage girls over a span of 40 years. This horrifying trial brought to light a deeply ingrained culture of sexual violence and secrecy that was rooted in the historical isolation experienced by the Pitcairners. Not only did this trial expose the dark underbelly of the island's past, but it also raised significant legal and political questions regarding the status of the Pitcairn Islands. The defendants argued that they were not subject to British law and that the British had no jurisdiction over their island home. The case eventually reached the Privy Council in London, which upheld the convictions and sentences of the men. This ruling unequivocally affirmed that the Pitcairn Islands were indeed a British overseas territory, and that it was the British government's responsibility to protect the fundamental human rights of the Pitcairners. However, the trial did more than just expose a painful truth and clarified the legal status of the island. It also had a profound impact on the community itself, leading to divisions among the Pitcairners. While some members of the community stood in support of the victims, others chose to defend the perpetrators, further deepening the divide. The trial attracted intense international media attention and scrutiny, which inevitably tarnished the reputation of the island and affected the overall morale of the Pitcairners. Ultimately, the trial served as a wake-up call for the Pitcairn Islands, highlighting the urgent need for reforms and improvements. The education, healthcare, and justice systems on the island were all found to be sorely lacking, and a concerted effort was needed to address these deficiencies. It became clear that meaningful changes were required in order to rebuild trust and create a safer, more supportive environment for all Pitcairners. Today, the Pitcairn Islands are still the most isolated islands in the world, but they are also trying to adapt and survive in the 21st century. The island has a population of about 50 people, most of whom are elderly or middle-aged. The island also has a limited economy based on tourism, handicrafts, and stamps. The island also has some modern amenities, such as electricity, satellite TV, and internet, but they are expensive and unreliable. The island also has a school, a clinic, a church, and a museum, but they are understaffed and underfunded. The island also has a ship, the MV Claymore II, which provides regular transport and supply services to the island, but it is costly and dependent on the weather. The Pitcairn Islanders are proud of their heritage and identity, but they are also aware of the challenges and uncertainties they face. They are concerned about the future of their island as they struggle with the population, aging, and dependency. They are also hopeful for their island as they seek to preserve their culture, attract new settlers, and develop new opportunities. They are also curious about the world as they welcome visitors, share their stories, and learn new things. The Pitcairn Islands are a unique and remarkable place, with a brutal and fascinating story. They are a testament to the human spirit and the human condition. They are a reminder of the past and a glimpse of the future. They are the most isolated islands in the world, but they are also part of the world. And now the answer to our question, which country do the Pitcairn Islands belong to? The correct answer is C, United Kingdom. The Pitcairn Islands are a British overseas territory, which means that they are under the sovereignty and jurisdiction of the United Kingdom, but they have their own internal self-government. The Pitcairn Islanders are British citizens, and they have a British governor who is based in New Zealand. The Pitcairn Islanders also have a special relationship with New Zealand, which provides them with diplomatic, consular, and economic assistance.